The mystery of the Whisker's orb. When the very fabric of day and night hangs in the balance, one feline guardian must rise to the challenge. Chapter 1. The Elder's Summons. Olivia sat at the edge of the enchanted catnip forest, her piercing emerald eyes scanning the horizon. The weight of the emerald collar around her neck was a constant reminder of the solemn responsibility she carried, not just for the ancient forest, but for the delicate balance of the world beyond. Buttercup, her ever-loyal companion, let out a soft trill, his keen senses attuned to the shift in Olivia's demeanor. The feline guardian turned to face him, a faint furrow in her brow. "Something is amiss, Buttercup," she murmured, her voice tinged with a note of unease. "I can feel it in the very air we breathe." No sooner had the words left her lips than a flurry of activity erupted at the edge of the forest. Olivia's ears perked up, and she watched as a procession of feline elders emerged from the verdant undergrowth, their expressions grave and their movements purposeful. Olivia rose to her paws, Buttercup by her side, as the elders approached. She dipped her head in a gesture of respect, her heart racing with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. "Feline Guardian," the lead elder spoke, their voice rich with authority. "We have summoned you for a matter of the utmost importance." Olivia's ears perked forward, her every sense attuned to the gravity of the situation. "What is it?" she asked, her voice steady despite the growing unease in her chest. The elder's gaze bore into hers, their eyes reflecting the weight of centuries-old wisdom. "The Whisker's orb has been stolen," they declared, their words cutting through the stillness like a knife. "And the balance of day and night hangs in the balance." Olivia's heart skipped a beat, her paws instinctively tightening around the emerald collar. The Whisker's orb, an ancient artifact of immense power, was the very source that governed the natural cycle of light and dark. If it had fallen into the wrong paws, the consequences could be catastrophic. "Who has taken it?" she asked, her voice laced with a newfound determination. "A mischievous raccoon sorcerer, driven by a thirst for power," the elder replied, their expression darkening. "He has sequestered himself in a labyrinthine lair, hidden deep within the shadow woods, where the Whisker's orb's power can be harnessed to his own sinister ends." Olivia's gaze hardened, her emerald eyes narrowing with a steely resolve. "Then I must retrieve the Whisker's orb and restore the natural balance," she declared, her voice ringing with unwavering conviction. "The safety of the entire world depends on it." The elder nodded, a glimmer of approval in their eyes. "We knew we could count on you, Feline Guardian," they said, their tone tinged with a hint of pride. "The path ahead will be fraught with peril, but the enchanted catnip forest stands with you, and its ancient power shall be your greatest ally." Olivia dipped her head once more, her paw instinctively reaching up to caress the emerald collar. She knew that the true test of her guardianship was about to begin, but the weight of responsibility on her shoulders only served to strengthen her resolve. "I will not fail," she vowed, her voice filled with a determined intensity. "The Whisker's orb will be returned, and the balance of day and night will be restored." With a nod, The elders turned and vanished back into the depths of the forest, leaving Olivia and Buttercup alone to face the challenges that lay ahead. The feline guardian took a deep breath, her gaze fixed upon the distant horizon, where the shadow woods beckoned with an air of mystery and danger. "Come, Buttercup," she said, her voice steady and resolute. "Our greatest adventure yet awaits." Chapter 2: The Shadow Woods. Olivia and Buttercup made their way through the lush enchanted catnip forest, the dappled sunlight filtering through the verdant canopy above. But as they approached the edge of the forest, the landscape began to shift, the vibrant greens and warm hues slowly giving way to a more somber, foreboding palette. The shadow woods loomed before them, its towering trees casting long, ominous shadows that seemed to stretch on endlessly. Olivia felt a chill run down her spine, but she steeled her resolve, her paw instinctively tightening around the emerald collar. "Stay close, Buttercup," she murmured, her eyes scanning the darkness ahead. "This is the domain of the mischievous raccoon sorcerer, and we must tread carefully." Buttercup let out a soft, affirming trill, his ears perked forward, his gaze unwavering. As they ventured deeper into the shadow woods, Olivia couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The air was thick with an eerie, oppressive energy, and the shadows seemed to shift and dance, as if alive with a malevolent presence. Suddenly, a glimmer of light caught Olivia's eye, and she paused, her senses heightened. "Do you see that, Buttercup?" she whispered, her gaze fixed upon the faint, flickering glow in the distance. Buttercup let out a low, inquisitive chirp, his head tilting to the side. "I believe it's a firefly," Olivia murmured, her brow furrowing. "But its light seems different, somehow." As if in response to her words, the glowing dot began to flutter closer, its luminescence pulsing with an otherworldly rhythm. Olivia tensed, ready to spring into action, but then, to her surprise, the firefly came to rest on the tip of her nose, its gentle glow illuminating her features. "Greetings, feline guardian," a lilting, feminine voice echoed, the words seemingly emanating from the firefly itself. "I've been expecting you." Olivia blinked, her emerald eyes widening with a mixture of wonder and caution. You're no ordinary firefly, are you?" she murmured, her voice tinged with a hint of awe. The firefly's luminescent body seemed to flare with a mischievous energy. "Indeed, I am not," the voice replied, its tone playful yet tinged with an underlying gravity. "I am Lamina, a guardian spirit of the Shadow Woods, and I've been sent to guide you on your quest to retrieve the Whisker's orb." Olivia felt a surge of relief and gratitude, her earlier trepidation giving way to a renewed sense of purpose. "Then I am grateful for your assistance, Lamina," she said, her voice steady and sincere. "The balance of day and night hangs in the balance, and I must recover the Whisker's orb before the sorcerer's machinations plunge the world into eternal darkness." Lumina's glow pulsed with a warm, encouraging light. "I understand your urgency, feline guardian," the firefly spirit replied, "and I shall do all in my power to aid you in your quest." But be warned, the sorcerer's lair is a labyrinth of traps and illusions, and his minions are ever vigilant. Olivia nodded, her expression resolute. "I am ready," she declared, her voice filled with a determined intensity. "Lead the way, Lamina, and I shall follow, no matter the challenges that lie ahead." Buttercup let out a low, rumbling purr, his eyes gleaming with a newfound excitement. Lumina's glow intensified, her luminescent form flitting through the air, casting a faint, guiding light. "Then let us be off, feline guardian," the firefly spirit proclaimed, her voice ringing with a sense of purpose. "The Whisker's orb awaits, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance." Olivia, with Buttercup at her side, followed Lumina's lead, her heart racing with a mix of trepidation and determination. The true test of her guardianship had begun, and she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 3: The Sorcerer's Lair. Lumina's ethereal glow led Olivia and Buttercup deeper into the shadow woods, the oppressive darkness seeming to close in around them. The air grew thick with an unsettling energy, and Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that unseen eyes were watching their every move. As they navigated the twisted, winding paths, the feline guardian felt her senses heighten, her emerald eyes scanning the gloom for any sign of danger. Buttercup padded silently beside her, his hackles raised, his sharp gaze ever vigilant. Suddenly, Lumina's light dimmed, and the firefly spirit's voice echoed with a note of caution. "We are nearing the sorcerer's lair," she murmured, her words barely above a whisper. "From here on, we must proceed with the utmost care." Olivia nodded, her paws slowing to a cautious pace. She could feel the weight of the emerald collar against her neck, the ancient amulet's power pulsing with a comforting rhythm. "Lead the way, Lamina," she replied, her voice steady and resolute. "I am ready." As they rounded a towering, twisted tree, Olivia's breath caught in her throat. Before them stood a massive, foreboding structure, its walls seemingly crafted from the very shadows of the forest itself. Jagged spires and towering turrets pierced the gloom, and Olivia couldn't help but feel a shiver of trepidation run down her spine. Lumina's light flickered and danced, her voice tinged with a mixture of awe and unease. "There it is," she murmured, "the sorcerer's lair, hidden deep within the heart of the shadow woods." Olivia's gaze narrowed, her emerald eyes gleaming with a fierce determination. "Then let us not waste any more time," she declared, her paws quickening their pace. "The Whisker's orb must be recovered, and the balance of day and night restored." Buttercup let out a low, rumbling growl, his hackles raised, as if sensing the malevolent presence that lurked within the sorcerer's lair. Lumina's glow pulsed with a cautionary light. "Tread carefully, feline guardian," she warned, her voice laced with a note of trepidation. "The sorcerer's traps and illusions are numerous, and his minions ever vigilant." Olivia's expression hardened, her paw instinctively reaching up to caress the emerald collar. "I am ready, Lamina," she replied, her voice filled with unwavering determination. "Lead the way, and I shall follow, no matter the challenges that confront us. The firefly spirit's luminescence flared with a newfound intensity, her voice ringing with a tone of encouragement. "Then let us be off, feline guardian," Lumina proclaimed, her words echoing through the stillness of the shadow woods. "The Whisker's orb awaits, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance." With Buttercup at her side, Olivia followed Lumina's lead, her every sense attuned to the dangers that lurked within the sorcerer's lair. The path ahead would be fraught with peril, but the feline guardian was undaunted, her heart filled with a steadfast determination to restore the natural balance and reclaim the Whisker's orb, no matter the cost. Chapter 4: Traps and Trickery. Lumina's ethereal glow led Olivia and Buttercup deeper into the shadows, the massive structure of the sorcerer's lair looming ever closer. As they approached the imposing gates, Olivia couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation creeping up her spine. "Remember, feline guardian," Lumina's voice echoed, her words laced with a note of caution. "The sorcerer's defenses are numerous, and his illusions can be most convincing. We must proceed with the utmost care." Olivia nodded, her emerald eyes narrowing with determination. "I am ready, Lumina," she replied, her paw instinctively reaching up to caress the emerald collar. "Lead the way, and I shall follow, no matter the challenges that lie ahead." Buttercup let out a low, rumbling growl, his hackles raised, his keen senses attuned to the unseen dangers that lurked within the sorcerer's lair. As they passed through the towering gates, Olivia felt a shiver of unease ripple through her. The air was thick with an oppressive energy, and the very shadows seemed to shift and dance, as if alive with a malevolent presence. Lumina's light flickered, her voice laced with a hint of concern. "Be on your guard, feline guardian," she murmured. "The path ahead is fraught with treachery." Olivia nodded, her gaze scanning the dimly lit corridors that lay before them. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught her eye, and she tensed, ready to spring into action. But instead of a foe, a small, furry creature emerged from the shadows, its beady eyes gleaming with a curious intelligence. Olivia blinked, her brow furrowing in confusion. "A raccoon," she murmured, her voice tinged with surprise. The raccoon let out a soft, chattering sound, its bushy tail swishing back and forth. To Olivia's astonishment, the creature seemed to be gesturing, as if beckoning them to follow. Lumina's glow pulsed with a wary light. "Tread carefully, Olivia," the firefly spirit cautioned. "This may be one of the sorcerer's tricks." Olivia's gaze narrowed, her senses heightened. And yet, something in the raccoon's demeanor gave her pause. There was an air of mischief about the creature, to be sure, but there was also a glimmer of something else, a hint of intelligence and, perhaps, even a touch of kindness. Buttercup let out a low, inquisitive chirp, his head tilting to the side as he studied the raccoon. Olivia took a deep breath, her decision made. "I will follow," she declared, her voice steady and resolute. "If this is a trap, then so be it. But I cannot ignore the possibility that this raccoon may hold the key to finding the Whisker's orb." Lumina's light dimmed, But the firefly spirit did not protest. "Very well, feline guardian," she murmured. "I shall remain ever vigilant, and guide you as best I can." With Buttercup at her side, Olivia cautiously followed the raccoon, her emerald eyes scanning their surroundings for any sign of danger. The corridors were dark and winding, the shadows seemingly alive with a restless energy. And then, just as Olivia was beginning to doubt the wisdom of her decision, the raccoon stopped before a seemingly innocuous wall, its tiny paws gesturing towards a hidden panel. Olivia's brow furrowed, her curiosity piqued. "What is it, little one?" she murmured, her voice low and soothing. The raccoon let out a soft, chittering sound, its eyes gleaming with a mischievous intelligence. Tentatively, Olivia reached out a paw, her movements slow and deliberate, and pressed against the hidden panel. To her surprise, the wall slid open, revealing a passageway that seemed to lead deeper into the heart of the sorcerer's lair. Lumina's glow intensified, her voice ringing with a newfound sense of purpose. "Well done, feline guardian," she said, her words tinged with a note of approval. "It appears our furry friend has led us to a hidden path, one that may bring us closer to the Whisker's orb." Olivia's gaze flickered to the raccoon, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of her lips. "Thank you, little one," she murmured, her voice filled with a genuine gratitude. "Your assistance may well prove invaluable." The raccoon let out a soft, chirping sound, its bushy tail swishing back and forth, before scurrying back into the shadows, leaving Olivia and her companions to venture forth, their hearts filled with a renewed sense of purpose. As they stepped into the hidden passageway, Olivia couldn't help but feel a surge of hope. Perhaps, with the help of their unlikely new ally, they just might have a chance of succeeding in their quest to retrieve the Whisker's orb and restore the balance of the world. Chapter 5: The Owl's Wisdom. The hidden passageway twisted and turned, the shadows shifting and undulating around them. Olivia's emerald eyes scanned their surroundings, her senses heightened, ready to face any challenge that might arise. Lumina's ethereal glow provided a gentle, guiding light, her voice ringing with a note of caution. "Be vigilant, feline guardian," the firefly spirit murmured. "The sorcerer's traps and illusions are never far from reach." Olivia nodded, her paw instinctively reaching up to caress the emerald collar that adorned her neck. "I am ready, Lumina," she replied, her voice steady and resolute. "Lead the way, and I shall follow, no matter the perils that lie ahead." Buttercup padded silently beside her, his keen gaze ever watchful, his hackles raised in anticipation of potential danger. As they ventured deeper into the passageway, Olivia couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The air was thick with a heavy, oppressive energy, and the very shadows seemed to writhe and twist, as if alive with a malevolent presence. Suddenly, a soft, hooting sound echoed through the gloom, causing Olivia to pause in her tracks, her ears perking forward. Lumina's glow flared, her voice ringing with a mixture of surprise and recognition. "That call," the firefly spirit murmured, "it is the voice of the wise old owl, a guardian spirit of the shadow woods." Olivia's brow furrowed, her emerald eyes scanning the darkness for the source of the sound. "The owl?" she questioned, her voice tinged with a hint of wonder. "Can he be trusted?" Lumina's light pulsed with a reassuring rhythm. "The wise old owl is a being of great wisdom and power," the firefly spirit replied. "If he has chosen to reveal himself, then he must have a message of importance to impart." Olivia took a deep breath, her expression resolving into one of determined focus. "Then let us seek him out," she declared, her paws quickening their pace. "The Whisker's orb must be recovered, and any ally who can aid us in this quest is most welcome." Buttercup let out a low, rumbling purr, his eyes gleaming with a newfound excitement. As they advanced, the hooting call grew louder, until finally, they came upon a vast, cavernous chamber, where a magnificent, regal-looking owl perched atop a towering, ancient pedestal. The owl's eyes, gleaming with an ageless wisdom, fixed upon Olivia, and the feline guardian felt a shiver of reverence run down her spine. "Feline guardian," the owl's deep, resonant voice echoed, seeming to reverberate through the very fabric of the chamber. "I have been expecting you." Olivia dipped her head in a gesture of respect, her voice tinged with a mixture of awe and determination. "Wise old owl," she replied, "I have come to retrieve the Whisker's orb and restore the balance of day and night. Will you lend me your guidance in this perilous quest?" The owl's piercing gaze bore into Olivia, and for a moment, the feline guardian felt as if her very soul was being laid bare. "The Whisker's orb is indeed the key to restoring the natural order," the owl intoned, his words weighted with a profound gravity. "But the sorcerer's machinations have already set in motion a series of events that threaten to unravel the very fabric of the world." Olivia's heart sank, a cold dread settling in the pit of her stomach. "Then time is of the essence," she murmured, her voice laced with a newfound urgency. "What must I do?" The owl's expression softened, a glimmer of approval flickering in his eyes. "You have already taken the first steps, feline guardian," he replied, his voice rich with wisdom. "The emerald collar you wear, and the allies you have gathered, will be your greatest weapons in the trials that lie ahead." Olivia felt a surge of hope and determination, her paw tightening around the emerald collar. "Then tell me, wise owl," she said, her voice filled with a resolute intensity. "What must I do to retrieve the Whisker's orb and restore the balance of the world?" The owl's gaze narrowed, his expression grave. "The path will be fraught with peril," he intoned, "for the sorcerer's power has grown, and his minions are ever vigilant. But if you can navigate the labyrinthine lair, overcome the traps and illusions, and confront the sorcerer himself, then you may yet have a chance of reclaiming the Whisker's orb." Olivia's eyes hardened with a resolute determination. "I will not fail," she vowed, her voice ringing with unwavering conviction. "The Whisker's orb must be recovered, and the balance of the world restored." The owl's expression softened, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of his beak. "Then go, feline guardian," he proclaimed, his voice rich with a benedictory tone. "Lumina and your furry companion shall guide you, and the power of the emerald collar shall be your greatest ally. Succeed in this quest, and the world shall forever be in your debt." Olivia dipped her head in a gesture of gratitude, her emerald eyes shining with a newfound resolve. "I shall not disappoint you, wise owl," she declared, her voice filled with a steadfast determination. "The Whisker's orb will be reclaimed, and the balance of day and night restored." With Buttercup at her side and Lumina's guiding light, Olivia turned and strode forth, her heart brimming with a sense of purpose and her mind focused on the challenges that lay ahead. The fate of the world hung in the balance, and the feline guardian was ready to face whatever trials awaited her in the sorcerer's lair. Chapter 6: The Sorcerer's Sanctum. Olivia and her companions pressed onward, Lumina's ethereal glow illuminating the twisting, labyrinthine passages of the sorcerer's lair. The air grew thick with a palpable tension, the very shadows seeming to pulse with a malevolent energy. Buttercup prowled at Olivia's side, his hackles raised, his senses on high alert. The feline guardian could feel the weight of the emerald collar against her neck, its power thrumming with a comforting rhythm, bolstering her resolve. "We are close, feline guardian," Lumina's voice echoed, her tone laced with a hint of trepidation. "The sorcerer's sanctum lies just ahead." Olivia's emerald eyes narrowed, her expression hardening with determination. "Then let us not delay," she replied, her voice steady and resolute. "The Whisker's orb must be reclaimed, and the balance of the world restored." As they approached the entrance to the sorcerer's sanctum, Olivia felt a sudden chill run down her spine. The very air seemed to crackle with a palpable energy, and the shadows seemed to shift and dance, as if alive with a malevolent presence. Buttercup let out a low, rumbling growl, his eyes fixed upon the ornate, towering doors that stood before them. Lumina's glow dimmed, her voice tinged with a note of caution. "Be wary, feline guardian," the firefly spirit murmured. "The sorcerer's power grows stronger with every passing moment. We must be prepared for anything." Olivia took a deep, steadying breath, her paw reaching up to caress the emerald collar once more. "I am ready, Lumina," she declared, her voice filled with a resolute intensity. "Lead the way, and I shall follow, no matter the challenges that lie ahead." With a gentle pulse of her luminescent form, Lumina drifted forward, guiding Olivia and Buttercup through the towering doors and into the sorcerer's sanctum. The chamber was a vast, cavernous space, its walls adorned with intricate, arcane symbols and glyphs that seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly energy. In the center of the room, a massive, ornate pedestal stood, upon which rested a glowing, pulsating orb, the Whisker's orb itself. But before Olivia could even begin to approach the pedestal, a sudden, chilling laughter echoed through the chamber, sending a shiver down the feline guardian's spine. From the shadows, a figure emerged, its form cloaked in swirling, ebony robes. Olivia felt her breath catch in her throat as the sorcerer's face came into view, his eyes gleaming with a malevolent intensity. "Welcome, feline guardian," the sorcerer's voice rasped, the very sound of it sending a chill through the air. "I've been expecting you." Olivia tensed, her emerald eyes narrowing with a fierce determination. "Sorcerer," she growled, her voice laced with a righteous fury. "I have come to reclaim the Whisker's orb and restore the balance of day and night." The sorcerer's lips curled into a sinister grin, his gaze fixed upon the emerald collar that adorned Olivia's neck. "A noble endeavor, to be sure," he hissed, his voice dripping with a mocking condescension. "But you are far too late, my dear. The balance has already been irrevocably shattered, and soon, the world will be plunged into eternal darkness." Olivia felt a surge of dread, her paw tightening around the emerald collar. "I will not allow it," she declared, her voice ringing with a defiant determination. "The Whisker's orb must be returned to its rightful place, and the natural order restored." The sorcerer's laughter echoed through the sanctum, the very walls seeming to tremble with the force of it. "Foolish feline," he spat, his eyes narrowing with a malicious gleam. "You have no idea of the power I wield, the forces I have harnessed. This world will be mine, and there is nothing you can do to stop me." Olivia felt a surge of fear, but she pushed it down, her emerald eyes burning with a resolute fury. "We shall see about that, sorcerer," she growled, her stance shifting, ready to spring into action. The sorcerer's grin widened, his hands beginning to glow with an ominous, arcane energy. "Then come, feline guardian," he taunted, his voice dripping with a mocking challenge. "Let us see which of us is truly the master of this world." Olivia's heart pounded in her chest, but her expression remained steadfast, her determination unwavering. With Buttercup at her side and the power of the emerald collar coursing through her veins, she knew that she was ready to face the sorcerer and reclaim the Whisker's orb, no matter the cost. Chapter 7: The Battle for Balance. The sorcerer's sanctum was alive with a palpable energy, the very air crackling with the intensity of the confrontation. Olivia stood her ground, her emerald eyes narrowed with a fierce determination, the emerald collar pulsing with a comforting rhythm against her neck. Buttercup let out a low, rumbling growl, his hackles raised, his gaze fixed upon the looming figure of the sorcerer. Lumina's ethereal glow flickered and danced, her voice ringing with a note of trepidation. "Feline guardian, be wary," the firefly spirit cautioned. "The sorcerer's power is formidable, and his tricks numerous. You must be prepared for anything." Olivia's expression hardened, her paw tightening around the emerald collar. "I am ready, Lumina," she declared, her voice steady and resolute. "The balance of the world hangs in the balance, and I will not falter." The sorcerer's lips curled into a sinister grin, his hands glowing with an ominous, arcane energy. "Brave words, feline guardian," he hissed, his voice dripping with a mocking condescension. "But they will avail you naught against the power I wield." With a swift, sweeping gesture, the sorcerer unleashed a torrent of shadowy tendrils, their sinuous forms lashing out towards Olivia and her companions. Buttercup sprang into action, his powerful jaws clamping down on one of the tendrils, his claws slashing at the others. Olivia, her senses heightened, dodged and weaved, the emerald collar's power surging through her, granting her a feline grace and agility. Lumina's glow flared, her voice ringing out with a commanding intensity. "Now, feline guardian," she cried. "Channel the power of the emerald collar." Olivia did not hesitate, her paw reaching up to grasp the ancient amulet. Closing her eyes, she felt the energy of the collar flood her being, suffusing her with a sense of purpose and strength. With a resolute roar, Olivia unleashed a burst of emerald energy, the power of the emerald collar lashing out like a whip, ensnaring the sorcerer's shadowy tendrils and cutting them to ribbons. The sorcerer's eyes widened with a mixture of shock and fury, his hands clenching into trembling fists. "Impossible," he snarled, his voice laced with a growing desperation. "How dare you defy my power?" Olivia's expression remained unyielding, her emerald eyes gleaming with a fierce determination. "Your reign of darkness ends here, sorcerer," she declared, her voice ringing with a tone of unwavering conviction. "The Whisker's orb will be reclaimed, and the balance of day and night restored." With a sudden, sweeping gesture, Olivia unleashed another burst of emerald energy, the power of the emerald collar crackling through the air like lightning. The sorcerer let out a blood-curdling scream as the energy enveloped him, his body convulsing with a violent, unearthly power. Olivia watched, her expression grim, as the sorcerer's form began to unravel, his very essence dissolving into a swirling vortex of shadows. "No," the sorcerer's voice echoed, his words laced with a growing desperation. "This cannot be. My power, my dominion, it was all mine." Olivia remained steadfast, her paw tightening around the emerald collar, her gaze unwavering. "Your time is over, sorcerer," she declared, her voice ringing with a tone of finality. "The world will no longer be subject to your twisted machinations." With a final, agonizing howl, the sorcerer's form collapsed, his essence dissipating into the very shadows he had once commanded. The Whisker's orb, now freed from his corrupt grasp, began to glow with a resplendent radiance, its power pulsing with a soothing, harmonious rhythm. Olivia felt a surge of relief and triumph, her emerald eyes shining with a newfound hope. "It is done," she murmured, her voice tinged with a reverent awe. "The balance has been restored." Buttercup let out a triumphant yowl, his tail swishing back and forth in a celebratory dance. Lumina's glow intensified, her voice ringing with a note of profound gratitude. "Well done, feline guardian," the firefly spirit proclaimed. "Your courage and determination have saved the world from the sorcerer's dark designs. The Whisker's orb is once again in its rightful place, and the natural order has been reclaimed." Olivia dipped her head, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of her lips. "It was my honor to serve as the guardian of this world," she replied, her voice filled with a quiet humility. "I am simply grateful that I was able to fulfill my duty and bring an end to the sorcerer's reign of darkness." Lumina's luminescence pulsed with a warm, comforting glow. "And the world is forever in your debt, Olivia," the firefly spirit said, her words laced with a genuine reverence. "Your name will be spoken of with the highest regard, and your legend shall endure for generations to come." Olivia felt a surge of pride and contentment, her emerald eyes shining with a newfound sense of purpose. The battle had been won, the balance restored, and the feline guardian knew that her work here was done. As she turned to leave the sorcerer's sanctum, Buttercup by her side and Lumina's guiding light leading the way, Olivia couldn't help but feel a deep sense of fulfillment. The world was safe, the natural order had been preserved, and she had played a vital role in ensuring the triumph of light over darkness. With a renewed sense of purpose, Olivia strode forth, her steps sure and her heart filled with a steadfast determination. The challenges of the world may yet continue, but the feline guardian knew that she would be ready, always vigilant, to protect the fragile balance that she had fought so hard to restore. Epilogue: The Guardian's Return. As Olivia, Buttercup, and Lumina emerged from the sorcerer's lair, the world around them seemed to hum with a renewed vitality. The shadows that had once blanketed the land had retreated, and the sunlight once more flooded the landscape, casting a warm, golden glow over the verdant forests and rolling hills. Olivia paused, her emerald eyes sweeping across the serene tableau, a sense of profound relief and satisfaction washing over her. "The balance has truly been restored," she murmured, her voice tinged with a reverent awe. Buttercup let out a soft, purring chirp, his tail swishing back and forth, his eyes gleaming with a newfound contentment. Lumina's ethereal glow pulsed with a radiant energy, her voice ringing with a tone of profound gratitude. "Thanks to your bravery and determination, feline guardian," the firefly spirit said, "the natural order has been reclaimed. The day and night now coexist in perfect harmony, and the world is once more at peace." Olivia dipped her head, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of her lips. "I am simply grateful that I was able to play a part in this triumph," she replied, her voice filled with a quiet humility. "The true heroes are the wise old owl and the unexpected ally who guided us to the sorcerer's sanctum." Lumina's light flickered with a warm, approving glow. "Indeed, Olivia," she said. "The raccoon's actions were crucial in leading us to the hidden passageway, and the owl's wisdom and counsel proved invaluable in our quest to reclaim the Whisker's orb." Olivia's gaze drifted, her expression thoughtful. "I wonder," she mused, "if we shall ever cross paths with our furry friend again. His mischievous nature may have hidden a deeper purpose, one that we are yet to fully comprehend." Lumina's light pulsed with a contemplative rhythm. "Perhaps," the firefly spirit replied. "The world is a vast and wondrous place, filled with mysteries and unexpected connections. Who can say what the future may hold?" Olivia nodded, her emerald eyes shining with a newfound sense of wonder and possibility. "Indeed," she murmured. "And I, for one, am eager to see what adventures may await us in the days to come." With Buttercup at her side and Lumina's guiding light leading the way, Olivia set off, her steps filled with a renewed purpose. The Whisker's orb had been reclaimed, the balance of the world restored, and the feline guardian knew that her role as a guardian and protector had only just begun. As she traversed the verdant landscape, Olivia couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pride and fulfillment. She had faced the sorcerer's dark machinations, overcome the challenges that had threatened to unravel the very fabric of the world, and emerged victorious. And now, with the Whisker's orb once more in its rightful place, Olivia knew that she and her companions would continue to play a vital role in safeguarding the delicate balance of day and night, ensuring that the world remained a place of wonder, harmony, and endless possibilities. The feline guardian's legend had only just begun, and as she gazed out upon the now vibrant landscape, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination coursing through her veins. Whatever challenges the future may hold, Olivia knew that she would be ready, her courage and resolve strengthened by the triumph she had achieved this day. The world was hers to protect, and she would fulfill that duty with unwavering dedication, for the sake of all who called this wondrous realm their home.